online channel.
Karibu mtazamaji wa BMTV Tanzania. Leo tuko kwenye ofisi za Simba Sports Club na tumekuja kwa ajili ya exclusive interview na mtendaji mkuu wa klabu ya soka ya Simba, ndugu yetu Senzo Mbatha, kama ambavyo anapenda kuitwa jina lake la pili Mbatha. Wengi wamezoea kumuita Senzo Mazigiza. Na sasa hivi nimeona kuna AKA inainuka hapo, wanasema Professor Senzo.
Professor?
Yes. Kuna watu wameanza kutoa jina kwamba ni Professor Senzo. Sasa tutasikia mambo mengi sana kutoka kwa Senzo. Dear viewers from anywhere where you are in the world, here we are in Simba Sports Club offices and we are here for interview with the CEO of Simba Sports Club, Mr. Senzo Mbatha. We are saying that there is a rising of the name AKA. Now Simba fans, they call him Professor Senzo. Senzo, how are you?
Oh, I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to engage with you, and you're welcome to our offices.
Thank you so much. First, let me congratulate you for the very beautiful office that you have.
Yeah, it's a functional office. It makes us comfortable. It allows us to do our work. Mm-hmm. So we are happy that it is a place where we can do our work, and we continue to strive for better things. And this is a start.
I believe that you have already started experiencing the life of Simba Sports Club since you joined Simba. By the way, how is administrative cases taking place in Simba Sports Club right now?
Administratively, most of the work is done behind closed doors. I know that most of the people would think that because there's no matches, there's less work. Yes, there's less interaction, there's less numbers in terms of people going to social media, there's less, people are not going to the stadium. So there's not much that is happening. But behind the scenes, this is an opportunity for a club to look at its own administrative issues, like how do we streamline our policies in the club, how do we ensure that administratively we have our systems in place, because as the league is happening, there's a lot of things that are becoming a distraction for you. But this time is the time to really dig deep into your own operational issues. For instance, there's been a number of things that we wanted to do behind the doors. Simba is no longer only playing in Tanzania or Africa, but we are competing internationally. You look at the number and the type of players we have. We have some players from Brazil. We have a coach from Belgium. You have a CEO from South Africa. You've got a couple of players from other parts of the continent. So we are no longer only East African or only CAF players, but we are also global players. So even our contracts, even our engagement with our partners, they need to meet the FIFA standard. So these are the small things that we're trying to align our contracts, trying to align our handbook, trying to align our policy, so that we are not found wanting. Everything is streamlined, even if we had to go to a level of FIFA, but at least our administration processes are at that level.
Okay, as you have said here right now that Simba is no longer the team, the club that is only doing its issues within the country or perhaps from the CAF levels only, but it's just going globally. Do you have a special committee that is working to brand Simba out of African continent, perhaps, and in Africa?
We must also be very careful how we go about this process. We must take it slowly. It must be a gradual process. As we speak now, we all know that Salim in the UK is our ambassador.
Salim Kikeke.
Salim Kikeke is our ambassador in the UK. We have a number of ambassadors all over the world. Some were announced, some were not announced. I mean, the chairman himself, Mr. Mohammed Dewji, is our biggest ambassador, because wherever he goes for his business, he plants the seed about Simba. he brands the club so well that everything he does, he doesn't forget that he's got a baby called Simba Sports Club. So it is a process. It requires us to be focused. You know, someone will say, but you are not in Brazil. How can you say we are global? We are in Brazil. We've got 3 players that we signed from Brazil. Anything that they do, they are followed. You go to South Africa, you know, Simba is followed seriously lately. I cannot talk more of our neighboring countries, you know. So we have our own operations and our own way of ensuring that our brand is spread all over the world, you know. I must also comment, as I said, you know, the chairman is very big in that, and we're following in his footsteps, and to ensure that the club is really amongst the best in the football world.
Being a CEO, it also means that you have a map of the club in terms of activities. What is your plan maybe for 5 years to come, or what is the really proper map of the Simba for the coming 5 years?
Look, there are basic things for me that were very key when one joined the club. One of those was alignment in terms of how do we professionalize the club, how do we separate the responsibilities between the board, the management, and the shareholders who are members. So we needed to establish, you know, the roles of each and every individual within the club, professionalize our operations, professionalize how the team is managed. You know, some clubs, you know, they'll have a coach and assistant coach, and then everything is fine. They'll have one team and they are called a club. But Simba, you know, we need to have a senior team that is playing in the Premier League. We've got an under 20 or an under 17. As the chairman has been saying as well, now we need to also go even deeper in terms of the youth development. We've got a ladies team. So all these operations need to be streamlined. You know, gone are the days whereby football you need a coach to train the players, they go and play. Now there's a lot of work that goes behind it. You know, there's a video analysis, there's performance analysis, there's player tracking, there's a special operations around medical. You know, you have a physio, you've got a doctor, you've got a physical trainer, you've got nutritionist and all. So I think those are the major things that we're trying to drive towards as a club. As I always say, these things take time, they come gradually. Mm-hmm. The other thing is the issue of the brand. Simba is a very big brand. On its own, it exists and it has been existing for all these years. So it is important to enhance that brand. How do you enhance that brand? By doing things professionally, by going out to the world and showcasing who you are, having programs in place that says, those people in the East African region know what they are doing. Mm-hmm. And most of all, it's how do we ensure that the club generates revenues beyond what we have currently. Mm-hmm. I know some people say, but since you've come, so what have you done about it? Mm-hmm. It's a process. You come in, you take stock, say, right, now we have X number of branches, we have X number of fans on social media, we have X number of members, X number of people who are supporting the club. How do we turn these people to become customers of the club to ensure that the club generates other revenues? What are those revenues? So, okay, but what if we formalize all our branches countrywide? And so now we've got commercial branch. Each and every corner of Tanzania, there's a commercial branch that is managed through Simba. Okay. So when we bring any merchandise that comes through the country or manufactured from where and is taken through our own branches, number one, we've got control of what goes to our members. Number two, we've got the control in terms of pricing. Number three, we've got control in terms of making sure that we don't have other counterfeit goods that are being sent to our people. Mm-hmm. We follow up with a very strong campaign around buying genuine Simba merchandise. Okay. You know, with our partner currently with the jerseys, you know, how do we partner with them to assist? Because the current arrangement with the partners, with our jersey partner, is that they procure and then they sell and then they pay us a certain amount of money in terms of the sponsorship. But how do we ensure that we assist the spread of the jerseys that is also goes through our own commercial branches that we have in place. So
you meet the needs of the customers.
Yes. So for me, that will also go a long way to ensure that we are able to generate a new revenue stream. Currently, we have the Simba fan card. You know, it starts small. You know, we've got pilot here and there in some areas, and the uptake of this card has been very good. You know, we've started signing up merchants, people that are giving us discounts so that people can enjoy their card. It's not just a card to say, no, I'm a Simba, but what does that card do for you? The card allows you to bank. The card allows you to put money in the account. The card allows you to go on your mobile app and send money where you want to send it. The card allows you to proudly brag and say, as a Simba fan, I'm able to swipe at a grocery store. You know, I can go to one of the partners, like for instance at the hotels. I can go have
you mean the card that will give a fan a win-to-win situation?
It must be proper value. But I'm not saying that we've arrived. It's still a process. You know, there's going to be a more discount partners that you're going to sign up. There's going to be more value for this card, and as we grow, you know, people will start seeing the value of this card. So it's not a one size fits all, but it's how do you take advantage of the current establishment that you have within the club to ensure that we start generating other income for the club.
The issue of card that you have introduced here when you were talking here, it seems like there is a point where most of cards that are getting provided to Simba fans are the cards that which includes or just takes people who are above 18. Do you have a special plan for those kids who feeling that we are Simba fans?
You see, first of all, everything that Simba does must be within the law of the country.
Okay.
You know, we cannot go beyond and now introducing things that the law prohibits. You must be over 18 to bank and all those other things, you know. But if the bank and through our partnership we're able to introduce cards for kids for savings and things like that, we'll go to that space, you know. But I don't want us to be confused in the process that we are taking. Now we are starting with the process of the cards. We must go back after 6 months or 3 months and say, how far have we gone? What have been the challenges? How do we improve going forward? All right, now it's been going very well. How do we introduce other products on top of this product? So it should not be, now we think of something, we put it in. We think of something, no, we must be very, very gradual in our process. What we've started, we need to go back and take stock and say, has it been successful? I know one of the questions that, but Equity Bank, your partner, has got few branches. How do we deal with that, you know? So we are talking with our partner. We have got mobile units that we would be installing and taking them out to the people, you know. So it is our partner that we started this thing together. It was a joint association from early on. So there will be hiccups, but we need to overcome the hiccups so that the product becomes better all the time. So I'm very convinced that this Equity Simba fan cards is going to be a success, and I encourage our fans, this is your way to support Simba monetary wise. This is a way of saying, I'm a Simba fan, I'm putting my money where Simba is involved.
Well, let's leave administrative cases and now let's go back to technical issues. You have said here that there are so many programs taking place in background. People of Simba fans, they don't know. As administration, you are doing that. There is this problem of Corona that we are challenging now. We get challenged with it. Perhaps until now we don't know where it's going to be cured. So we don't know where the league will be resumed. Do you have a long plan? If it will stand for so long, how are you going to keep a club, team, players, so that they can be fit whenever the league will be resumed, so that they can get into the competition?
Firstly, it's not only Simba that is affected. I think the world at large is affected by corona virus pandemic. As a club, we, if not weekly, every 2 weeks, I meet with my technical team, but we still do the social distancing. They sit there. The social distancing is still there.
Yeah, sure.
So we sit down, we meet and come up with ways of how best to manage the situation. Number one, we've got a group where the fitness trainer sends on a weekly basis a weekly program, and we find ways to manage that. And recently, if you follow most of our players on social media pages, they are posting their workouts.
Yeah, sure.
So there will be a workout that is sent to the group. The players must go and do the workout. Some they post those workouts, some don't. But we believe that we are working with professionals. We keep on encouraging them. I am satisfied where I am that they are doing their part, because even them, they are used to waking up, going to training, come back and rest. But now sitting at home and doing nothing, they will not even feel good themselves. So it's important that they follow the programs, because every week Adele, through the head coach, and Matola and all of them, they monitor these programs to ensure that they are given to the players. How do we deal with this issue? It's very difficult. Even yourself, to be motivating someone who's in Kigamboni, alone, yeah, sure, in the house, no monitoring, no nothing. It's a challenge. You can only encourage through messaging, through talking to them over the phone, checking of how well they are doing. That's the best we can do. We really don't know when this pandemic will end. Personally, I think that this is not a disease that will just disappear within 2 months, 3 months. In my view, I think this pandemic will take at least 6 months for it to be clear and for people to feel confident to go back to training, to go back to stadiums, to go back to football full time. It's not going to be an easy thing. So we just remain hopeful as football people that we can go back to football. Because if you think about it now, if the numbers go down and then the spread is, as they say, the curve is flattened, there's no more spike in the numbers, we also need to be careful. You cannot just go back to football as if nothing has happened. We need to gradually go back to it, So it's going to be a headache, not only for Simba, but it's a headache for TFF, it's a headache for CAF, it's a headache for FIFA, it's a headache for all the sporting institutions in the world. Because, you don't want to be excited when the curve is flattened to say the numbers are down, and then we get another infection coming up because we were too in a hurry to go back to football. Yes, I've always been saying that I would love to see a football league that finishes on the pitch, not in the boardroom when you are told now the winner is so and so because we cannot play anymore. So I don't have exact answers, but I'm of the view that we must save lives, we must be very responsible, and we must make sure that the decisions that we take are for the long run going to sustain the club. As we speak now, there's been a lot of losses, not at Simba only, but to a lot of people. You can think of the mamas that are selling at the stadium.
Yeah, sure.
You can think of the guys that are selling tickets via Cellcom. You can think of the guys that are walking around the stadium selling some water and doing this. Those, for me, are people that have really lost out because there's no football. Yes, the clubs have lost out big time because there's no entertainment in the country. Remember, we as football people, especially Simba, we've got a role to play. The happy index of the people in the country also depend on how our football is playing week in, week out. So it's a pain, but what can we do? We are confronted by this coronavirus. We need to do everything possible to ensure that we flatten the curve. We go back to washing our hands, social distancing, respecting the space we are in. Avoid crowds, avoid going to places where there's a lot of people, because that's how the virus spread. So it's not easy, but we constantly engage our players, technical team, and find ways to remain relevant in the process. And at the end of the day, we pray that this come to an end.
Mtazamaji wa BMTV Tanzania, tuko live moja kwa moja na Mr. CEO wa Simba Sports Club, Senzo Mbatha, na tunazungumza mambo kadhaa kuhusiana na klabu ya soka ya Simba. Na bado tuko naye hapa, kwa hiyo endelea kutuma message yako hapo chini, sisi endelea kuisoma na kuweza kuijibu, lakini pia tuma maswali yako hapo. Na hapa tunazungumza naye, tuko ofisini. Kumbuka hii ni exclusive interview na BMTV Tanzania. Usisahau kusubscribe, comment na like channel yetu hapo chini. Mimi ni brother Geoffrey Fabian Mwamiani. Mr. CEO Senzo, during the annual meeting, if I'm not mistaken, was last year, you say that you are trying a lot to minimize cost and to maximize profit. At least the club can run by itself. And we are now on the point where clubs, they are getting into a registration of new players. Perhaps do Simba fans and members, they should expect players of the highest quality with their maximum profiles, or they should expect the normal players because of the budget that you said last year?
Simba is a trendsetter. Simba, they raise the bar. Simba are the ones that are showcasing what is football in Tanzania. I cannot come to Simba and start saying, no, we've got issues, we're going to have lower players and everything. No, within the budget that we have, we must go and strive to get the best players. You know, if the budget allows me to get Ronaldo and I'm able to negotiate for Ronaldo, then we get him. You know, we should not allow the issues of budget to hinder us from doing better or doing best as a club. Yes, I cannot renege from my previous statements that for us to move forward and for us to make our bosses like the chairman of the board, the investor, and even the members, we need to be responsible how we spend. You know, it doesn't mean because we want to limit the spending, it means that now we must get everything which is less because we don't have money. No, it's an issue of managing. You know, we cannot have an organization where anyone just comes and say, no, this is a player is available, $200,000 US, boom, 200,000. No, we must not. Do we have 200,000? Is it within the budget? Is it something that we can afford? You know, we must be very careful not to get to a point whereby we are promising something that we cannot be able to pay. I'd rather be honest with you, say I will pay you 10,000 shillings, and then I know that every month I will be able to pay you that kind of money. You know, so we try to also, you know, you look at your squad currently, we've got 29 players. Before we even go out there to go and recruit, we need to check from the current squad, how are we minimizing the numbers? So that when we bring those, we don't want to bring, by the time we realize we've got 40 players in the club, you know, that raises costs. So we need to make sure that that will force you as a club to make a right decision to say, this we cannot continue with, at least we can replace him with this one, because now it's give and take. You know, it's give and take, you know. For instance, we've got 9 foreign sports, you know. So how do you bring another 5 foreign sports while the regulation says 10? So that means before you even bring, make sure that you are happy with what we have and make a decision, who are we going to release when the time is right for us to release, you know. So we're having those discussions which are ongoing. But as Simba, will continue to look for the best talent, we'll continue to make our fans happy, and I'm sure that even the chairman, Mohamed Tuuji, will be excited to see that we remain the standard that is set as a chairman of the board.
In one of the interviews that we did some previous month ago, you say that one of the things that you are looking at, criteria that you are looking in a new signing, it is a period of a player to stay in a club. And you said you will at least try to recruit a player who will not be minimum of 3 years to above. We have seen an example to Luis Mixon, you did that. But within a club, there are also some players who are aged, players who are 30 to above, and they have finished their contracts. Do you still need them and will add those more than 3 years or 3 to above years, or you just leave them and include other players who are young for the club and performance of it?
You know, we should not make a mistake as a club and think that the best form of recruitment is getting young players into the club. That is a big mistake. A club needs a team that is balanced. What I mean by balanced, whether you're 35 or you're 38, if you can still produce results, you're a good player. Whether you're 40, but if you can still do well in the middle of the park and you're able to still give us the performance that we need, we need that. It means whoever we are bringing must be somebody that is going to be learning from you, and in a few years' time, when you retire, this person can take over. So when I said that we need to sign players on a longer periods of time, I meant that at least that allows you for the entire team to be together for a long time. So you talk about players that are 30, 33. So what? Are they still producing results? Are they still scoring goals? Are they still giving you what they require? I'm happy to have a 40-year-old that is scoring goals for me, that is a discipline, that is also assisting the rest of the players to be in line. I'm happy to have that. So let's not be excited about this issue of the age. Yes, we need young, matured players that can run faster, they can perform better. You know, that every club needs to have that. But it does not mean that you must chase away your best talent in the club. We must find ways, how do we manage that talent? How do we ensure that I've got a 40-year-old that does well for me when we are playing away? How do I make sure that through the coach, of course, and the technical team and the medical team, how do I make sure that this player is ready for my team? If it means he must wake up in the morning, go for a walk, come back, get a massage, go to sleep, so be it. You know, we cannot run a 18-year-old like you are running a 40-year-old. You cannot. You need to manage what you have in your team so that you've got the best team. You know, best teams, if you follow you follow them, you realize that even in their spine, it's more experienced in their spine. You know, the goalkeeper, center backs, holding midfielder, maybe the strikers. Sometimes they have a very special player on the wing or something like that. It's how your team is set up. You know, so I don't want, as a football administrator, to always want to say age versus this. No, it's wrong.
Okay.
People must be judged according to what they give in the field of play.
One of the big problem in football of Tanzania, it has been said that it is a case of scouting players. And you, as Simba, you have said you are now trying to be the best of anyhow, so that you can lead other clubs on your back. Perhaps, how far have you started to make the follow-up of a new players that they will just join Simba, especially when you are looking to the CCL, that means CAF competition, ahead of you, as we know that Simba now is leading the VPL?
Firstly, I want to emphasize the fact that in any recruitment of players, the technical team must be the leading department. Technical team must lead us. We might, as leaders, think that no, there's a player in Ghana, he's a striker, he's been offered to us by the agent. Well and good, but we must allow the technical team to be leading us. Currently, I don't think that Simba has got that budget to be having scouts all over the place and be paying them retainers so that they can look for it. We are not yet at that level. However, through the connections, through the contact, we know that when we are looking for a player in East Africa, we've got two people that we can contact that can give us proper feedback and information on the player. We have maybe somebody in the West Africa. We know that exactly for if there's a player that has been touted in West Africa, we must call Chico. Chico is our person that side, But that doesn't mean that now Chico is in our payroll. We use the existing relationship to be able to see what is available there. Also, there's an Instead program. That's when you look at the stats. How well this player doing for the past 3 seasons. How has he been playing? How many goals has he scored? You can even get information around was he injured in the last 2 seasons or not? Because one of the things that is happening with the recruitment is that people will send you videos of a player when he was playing in 2013, but produces the video as if he played last season. But if you do a proper research, and a proper analysis of the player, you realize that this player was injured and was off for the whole year, you know, club. But the video that was sent to you does not tell you that, you know. So it's important for now, because we're not yet at the level whereby we can have our scouts that we can spend money on, and then we rely on relationships, we rely on our contacts, and we rely on the available information on like We Scout, Instead Scout. You know, there's a number of programs that can assist you with that.
Okay. There have been so many rumors in social networks that Simba, they are looking for some players who passed in Simba and they went away. Players like James Kotei, Emmanuel Okwi, and they just make a follow-up of them to get back to the squad. Can you say something on that?
Well, you know, one thing I like about Tanzanian fans is that they are engaged. Tanzanian fans, you know, I must take my head off. They are engaged. They love their clubs. They love their players. Once you make an impression with the fans in Tanzania, they will love you forever. You know, so we almost done with the coach in terms of the requirements and the type of players we want to bring in. If those players that they are talking about are something that we are looking at within the list that we have, why not? You know, so we should not also limit ourselves because no, the fans are saying this, we are not listening to the fans. No, if maybe the fans are saying something, because you know, football is a very interesting game. We might be sitting in the offices and the coaches on the bench, but there might be a fan that has got a point. Doesn't mean that you must look the other way and say, this one is talking nonsense. No. You know, you listen to it and say, hey, Bwana, Mshabiki, Mshabiki is talking about something sensible, you know. So that's how you build your club, how you build a relationship so that people can see that their views are listened to, you know. But as I'm saying now, that it depends what the club needs, it depends how we want to move forward, and it depends in the situation with those players, if they're available or if it's something that we need. So I cannot rule that out.
There is Simba youth team and Simba Queens. That is, they are also doing well. Do you have a special program that you'll make sure that these young men, they will just arise and coming to the senior team, and perhaps you'll sell them in abroad so that a team can generate its own monetary form? I
think in the long run, as we are developing the Bunju complex, one of the major reasons why we are doing that is to ensure that the talent we bring in is nurtured, is looked after so well that it becomes a product when you can sell it out. I can tell you now currently, as things stands now, that there's a good relationship between the senior team and the under 20 and under 17. For that matter, we've got a young man, Cyprian, who is a constant feature in the senior team. You know, so there is that relationship between those teams, and we've got a very, very interesting coach that believes in youth. You know, he believes in bringing your own players through your own system. You know, but we should not fool ourselves and say that our system is better. No, we need experienced coaches. We need coaches that understand what it takes to build a youngster. Not to say that those are currently, they don't know. No, they've been doing it for all these years. But for you to be better, you need the best talent to assist you with it. So these are the things that we are looking at, as the chairman has been alluding to the fact that we want to have best coaches for our youth, best youth programs. So we are going that direction. It is very, very important as a club to bring your own players up. I mean, when I did my research as I joined the club, I realized that players like Demla, players like Hussein, players like Ngude, these players have been together for a long time. You know, they also came through the Simba system. You know, there's a number of players that are playing in other clubs that came from the under 20s. You know, so it's a good system that we need to enhance and ensure that now it's giving us results that we require. If you cannot be signed by the senior team, at least go somewhere, but you don't go for free. Simba must make money out of it.
Connecting to what it has been taking place 3 to 4 days ago, concerned some statement given by one of the second chairperson of the Yanga Sports Club, Mr. Mwakalebela. You posted a picture in your account with 3 young kids trying to show their muscles, and you said, kwa hili hapana. Is there any connection, and what is your statement? Because we saw yesterday that there was a statement given by the TFF that they have received your letter on the statement of that leader. With that connection of what you posted and this scenario that is taking place, what was the intention of that?
Firstly, I think I'm starting to enjoy the banter that Tanzanian football fans are enjoying. So I would not want people to connect everything that I post, because they will be misled. You know, but officially coming to the issue of the statements made by my colleagues at Young Africans. You see, it is important that as clubs officials, you are responsible in what you are saying and in what you are doing. It is also responsible attitude for people to think twice before they do things. You see, TFF governs the football in the country. And for you to govern football, that means you can only govern through the rules. There are prescribed rules that we must live by. So if I'm aggrieved as Simba that somebody has broken the rules and infringed on my rights, I think it's only fair that I complain and ask to be assisted, because now my rights have been infringed. You know, so we all know of what has transpired. You know, and it was only on those bases that we needed to protect the rights of Simba, also to protect the player and protect our fans, so that they know that when Simba says that this is our player for 2 years or 3 years, it's true. You know, we don't say the player is our player for 2 years. Somebody says, no, I'm speaking to him, I'm going to take him. Then we keep quiet about it. It's not right. Simba is a professional club. Simba's got professional contracts. Simba is spending a lot of money towards the upkeep of those contracts with the players. So all we are doing as Simba is just to make sure that our interests are protected, our rights are not infringed on, and also to make people aware that football is not just a business as usual. Football has got its own rules. Let's follow the rules. Mm-hmm. That's my comment on the matter.
Before this scenario, there were also some statements given by the players of Yanga, and one of the spokesmen of Yanga said that Simba is buying some of the games of VPL, but you were very quiet and we didn't see any letter that you sent to TFF to verify, to call them and verify that one. Why did you stay quiet at that time, and this time you decided to raise the issue to TFF?
It is unfair for you to say we stayed quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Because we even sent out a press release on that matter. We never keep quiet on such issues because they've got an impact on our brand. Mm-hmm. We issued a press release for that matter to say that we are aggrieved by those statements that we made, and as such we are taking the matter to TFF. We've written to TFF.
Did you get any feedback?
We've written to TFF. No, they've acknowledged that we've received the letter. You know, so whether they take it further or what they are doing about it, we are hopeful that they are dealing with the matter. You know, so it is wrong or is misleading for your question to say that we did nothing.
Okay.
You know, it's misleading because we did something. Before you leave, I will show you the letter just so that you can see and you can report to your people that no, indeed he showed me the letter. Okay. He showed me the press release that was released and the date in which it was released. We try by all means to live up to the ethics of football code. You know, every time we're doing, sometimes the attack will come to Simba. Maybe we as a club, through me maybe, or through my players or my coaches or my leaders, somebody might step out of line. That does not mean that we should keep quiet. As much as we are Simba, but we are representing Tanzanian football. Everything that we are doing, we must try to improve on it. We must try to stick to the rules and ensure that whatever we are doing is above board. You know. So to reiterate my answer to your question, Simba did address the matter to the TFF. Simba did address the matter through our social media, and we issued a statement in that regard.
Yanga is the side giant here in Tanzania. And the matter, especially the recent one, it has been already sent to the committee code of conduct of players. If they will call you and Yanga say that please forgive us for what we've given out, are you ready to forgive Yanga so that you can stay sit in one table?
Let me answer this question like this. Already when I received the audio which was sent to me that Mr. Mwakalebela has apologized, I accept the apology. But that does not take away the responsibility of the football authorities to do their work. If you say sorry, yes, my brother, sorry, shake hands. But there's consequences for everything you are doing. Let TFF do what is right. Let them do what is right for the football to go forward. You know, I don't have qualms with my colleagues at Young Africans. You know, I have no qualms at all. Now and then we'll step on each other's toes. But if I'm wrong, I must live up to my mistake. It's simple as that. No hard feelings. You know, even tomorrow I can shake hands. Your apology, I accept your apology. You know, however, there must be consequences for breaking the rules. Bas.
So if TFF will tell you that now, Simba, we have received your letter and your commitment on the matter that you received and you were provoked. Now, will you please stop these things and let football take place? Are you ready for that?
You are changing your question again.
Yes, it's another side, the other side of the question.
The matter is no longer in my hands, my brother. The matter is with the authorities.
Okay.
It's no longer my matter. If it was my matter, I would deal with it. But now it's no longer my matter. It's a matter of the TFF. It's no longer my matter. As I'm saying to you, I would shake hands even now and say, I accept the apology. You made a mistake. Thank you. However, there's consequences for our actions. And this matter is no longer in my hands. It's now in the hands of the authorities of football in Tanzania.
Tuko kwenye dakika za mwisho kabisa tukiwa na Mr. CEO, Mr. Senzo Mbatha. Senzo Mazigiza, wenyewe mmependa kumuita Professor Senzo. Na ndilo jina ambalo linaendelea kukua huko mtaani. Nami ni brother Geoffrey Fabian Mwamnyaji. Kumbuka usisahau kusubscribe, kucomment na kulike channel yetu hapo chini ili kuweza kupata notification zote ambazo tunakutumia ama tunaposti video zetu na vitu muhimu katika channel yetu. Tunaendelea tunamalizia sasa, tunafunga na CEO wa klabu ya soka Simba, Senzo Mbatha. Mr. CEO, is there anything that you want to tell your Simba fans and all football fans here in Tanzania and wherever the world, especially at this point of registration of new players? That is the story most of people they want to hear from you, because you are the core of the activities in Simba Sports Club.
Before we register, we must deregister. I would like people to ask us, who are we deregistering before we go and register? We've got 29 players in the squad. We need to first look at that squad and see how best we cut it so that we can register. But I'm definitely sure that the coach has identified areas in the team which are not balanced, because we agree that the team is not entirely balanced. For him to balance his team, he's got areas that he would want to improve. So we will work hard to ensure that that is improved. And you know, a football club is not run by one person. I may lead the operations, I may lead in most instances, but it's not a one-man show. You know, there's a number of leaders within the club that are also involved, from the board, the chairman himself, vice chairman, members of the board. It's a collective approach in terms of how we bring new players into the club. So what I can say is that we will do everything in our best to ensure that the team is balanced and the team has got a good team that can compete in the Champions League. I must also say that, you know, a lot of things can change in the coming few months. You know, we might be thinking that the Champions League can happen in August. It might not even happen this year. They might decide, no, Champions League will start in January. We want the spread of the COVID-19 to be eliminated before we can even conclude. You know, so it is important that we are also wary whatever we are doing. You know, even recruitment now, it's a big chance, because now do you recruit now and give a contract from when to when? You know, because the current league has also not ended. You know, but if this thing continues until December, but we've given somebody a contract to start in July, So we must be very, very careful how we do things. But in the midst of all that, we promise our fans that we will do our best to get the best talent into the club. We'll do our best to keep the best talent in the club, and we'll do our best to try and improve our status in the CAF Champions League in the next season.
The last but not least, how far have you gone for the process of making Simba Sports Club to Simba Sports Company Limited?
As you know, that there's a special committee that is called Transformation Committee that is dealing with that. So now and then I get reports from them in terms of how far they are. That is a program that is run by that particular committee. I support the committee in terms of whatever documentation they require, whatever they require, I support that committee. But it's not the responsibility of the CEO. That is a special committee of the board that is dealing with the transformation of Simba Sports Club.
Mtazamaji wa BMTV Tanzania, tumekuwa na Mr. Senzo Mbatha, mkurugenzi mkuu mtendaji wa Simba Sports Club, na hapa tuko kwenye ofisi za Simba Sports Club maeneo ya Posta, na tumekuwa na mengi sana tukiyazungumza kuhusiana na masuala ya kiuongozi, lakini pia masuala ya technical issues na tactics, technical issues kwa maana ya wachezaji na mabenchi ya ufundi, lakini pia tumegusa mpaka maeneo mengine kabisa ambayo yametokeza hivi karibuni. Mambo jadid kweli kweli yalikuwa yakihusiana na kauli ambazo zimetolewa na baadhi ya viongozi wa watani wao wa jadi Yanga, na ametupa maelezo juu ya hayo kwamba tayari jambo hilo liko kwenye mikono ya TFF, na wao ndio ambao wana mamlaka ya kuweza kuona namna gani linaweza kumalizika na wanaweza wakalipeleka wapi na likaje. Lakini amesisitiza kwamba hana uadui wowote na ama Mwakalebela ama upande wa pili kwa maana ya Yanga Africans. Wao au yeye anachotamani kifuatwe ni zile taratibu zinazoendesha taratibu na miongozo zinazoendesha mpira, ili tuweze kufika mbali zaidi kama watu ambao watafika kwenye mpira ambao ni wa kulipwa ama professional football ama wakiweledi zaidi. Mr. Senzo, I would like to thank you so much for your time. It has been so good for us to be here, and thank you for the cooperation that you have given us.
No, asante sana. We also, as I always say, that media is our partner. I know that most of the time, we view media differently because media will deal with the issues that we don't want to hear. But in my experience throughout all these years, I always seen the media as a good stakeholder for football, whether it's good or bad. But we must use media to spread the good word about football. And also, in my closing remarks, I would like to say that
before closing that way, we were stopped to cover some of the exercise there in Bunju that and before we were just doing that and putting into the public, and people there they saw what were taking place during the training. But recently we were stopped, we as media, and now you are saying that we're a very important part for the club so that to grow. Are we allowed to go back for these activities?
No,
there?
we must see, as much as I'm saying that you are part of the important stakeholder in football, it does not give you a right to everything that we have. It doesn't. There are exclusive things. I've got my media team, which must push our own agenda. We spoke about the revenues. How do we generate content if every content we have we give to you? We can't do that, So you must be grateful that we're giving you exclusive content now, something that you can use. But when my coach and his technical team decides that they want to have a private training session or private this, what must we do?
To hide them.
No, we must respect our protocols.
Thank you.
Media is our stakeholder. When the time is right and the environment is good, we'll always welcome you.
Okay. Now you were winding.
I was winding off by saying that I know that we've got different beliefs in the world, but whatever you believe in, let's go and use our beliefs and pray very hard that this COVID-19 is eradicated. It has stopped a lot of important programs worldwide. My biggest worry is about those people that cannot even find food today because they are stopped. They must be in the house. They cannot even go to the streets to fend for themselves. So this, as much as we are football people, we think that it's affecting us, it's affecting everybody in the world. So let's pray, those that Those that believe in whatever they believe, let's go do whatever we need to do so that we pray that this pandemic moves away. Also importantly, let's stick to the guidelines of social distancing, washing our hands, avoid crowded places, and just stay home. This too shall pass.
That's the word of Mr. CEO, that we should stay at home so that we can make ourselves safe and our family and the beloved ones. So whoever that hear this message, please implement what Mr. CEO says. And here is the last point of our interview. We would like to thank you so much wewe mtazamaji wetu ambao umekuwa pamoja nasi, na tukutakie kwamba uendelee kufuata taratibu zote ambazo shirika la afya, lakini pia wizara yetu ya afya, shirika la afya la dunia, lakini pia wizara yetu ya afya ikiongozwa na mama yetu Mwalimu, juu ya kuweza kujikinga na ugonjwa huu hatari wa corona COVID-19. Mimi ni brother Geoffrey Fabian Mwamnyanyi, nyuma kamera yangu amekuwa Salum Ogela mtu. Mpaka wakati mwingine, karibu. Hatuwezi kushikana mikono, we cannot shake our hands because tunajaribu na sisi kuimplement kile ambacho tayari tumekisema hapa. Uwe na wakati mwema.
Hauhitaji njia moja tu ya YouTube pekee kupata taarifa na habari zetu. Download sasa BMTV Tanzania application ili kuwa sehemu ya familia yenye weledi na ujazo habari zenye mizania. Habari papo kwa papo, michezo na burudani, siasa, sinema, makala na habari zote zenye maslahi mapana katika jamii. Application ya BMTV Tanzania. We do the best. Download sasa.
This is BMTV online channel.